Hello, eighth graders. Today, for our mini lesson, we're going to talk about how writers rehearse. Yesterday, you were supposed to make a very important decision about what you're going to do for your independent project. I want you to be thinking about that right now. Also, I want you to be thinking about how you probably know a lot about rehearsal, both in life and in writing. Whenever you're getting ready to do something important, let's think about the things that you do that are important, like, for example, if you're on a sports team, maybe you practice the plays, and you practice, you do drills. And if you were in a play, you were going to rehearse and practice all your lines so that you get it perfect. I know that one thing that I rehearse in my head, and this is kind of embarrassing, but like if I'm mad at somebody and I know that we're going to have like a conversation about it, I kind of rehearse in my head like what my main points of my argument are going to be and how I'm going to say it and like check my tone and everything like that. So, and I do it in my head, so it's not that strange. But I think a lot of people do that. But I do rehearse conversations, especially if like there's a lot of emotions involved. If you were going to write an essay, maybe you organize all of your ideas with boxes and bullet points. We're going to do a lot of outlines in this class to kind of rehearse what you're going to say in your essays. If you were going to write a story, you might draw the story mountain or sketch out the scenes on a storyboard, or even tell it out loud to a friend a few different ways and just see which sounds the best. So you all know this, but there's one part of rehearsal I think is super important, and maybe we don't spend enough time on it yet. So today I want to remind you that writers rehearse. One of the most important ways that they rehearse is that they think deeply about their intentions and their goals for the writing piece. They make sure that the writing goes in a way that will help them achieve their goal. So, lots of ways to rehearse, but one thing that's true about rehearsing is you have to think about your intentions and what you want before you start filling in the story mountains or the story maps or the storyboard. You need to think about like, what are my intentions with this writing? And so I chose a seed in my notebook about standing up to others and changing things. And I decided to write a true story about kids standing up for each other. And I'm going to think about my intentions using some of the phrases like this in your writer's notebook. And this is supposed to say, I want readers to feel, I want readers to understand, I want readers to act by, and maybe my poem, story, informational text could be like, or writing a blank could make readers blank. So here's just some prompts. So then here's my other thing. We need to insert that word want right here. Here's my other thing. So let's say that I take the idea of like the genre or the topic of standing up for others. So if I was writing a fictional story, maybe I would want people to feel like inspired because they could do what those characters did. And maybe it could not, and then maybe I thought about if I did like true stories about people who actually stood up for other people, it would inspire my readers to be brave. And I want them to understand that like doing the right thing runs a risk, but it's still the right thing to do. And I want them to act by like doing the right thing in the future. If somebody needs somebody to defend them, then they stand up for what is right and they stand up for the weaker person. So I am using those prompts to kind of like help myself rehearse for the piece of writing I'm going to do and make sure that it projects that message to my readers. I want them to understand that I want them to be inspired and I want them to stand up for what is right. And I want them to say no to bullying and just be a good citizen. So I want you to think about your writing and what your purpose is for writing that. And sometimes your purpose is entertainment. Like if you're writing a comic book strip or you're writing, it's not always to inform somebody about something or to invoke emotion. Sometimes it's just pure entertainment. Like I want this story to be funny or I want it to be scary and entertain people. So before you get to the boxes and the bullets and the outlines and the story maps, I want you to just make sure your purpose is really set forward. Most of you are ready to dive in.